Ooh, what's up guys, Chris here, or MightyFurtado, bringing you part number 4 of my Diablo 3 Demon Hunter playthrough, or beta playthrough. Now, this is going to actually be the last video that I have post-commentary, because this is actually the last section of the game where I actually got up to, as of 4 a.m. Sunday morning. So this is the last part you'll see with post-commentary, and in this video I want to give my first impressions of the game, because as of right now I've already completed the whole entire demo playthrough, and I've already completed the rest of the parts. So this will be the last post-commentary gameplay, and then the rest will be live commentary gameplay, which kind of is commentary section, if you know what I mean. But in this video I kind of want to give my thoughts regarding the whole Diablo 3 beta, and what I think of it so far. So basically, I got into the beta back in January or sometime near that, and I thought, holy fuck, I got into the Diablo 3 beta and I wanted to try it out. Now, I did play as all the classes before, but I never actually finished the campaign with them. So I played as the Barbarian first. I went in order. I went to play as the Barbarian, then I think it's the Demon Hunter, and then you have I think it's the Witch Doctor, Monk, Witch Doctor, and then Sorcerer. And I played as all of them, and by far my favorite class out of all of them. I can do it in different categories, but my favorite class out of all of them would be the one I'm playing right now, which is the Demon Hunter. Now, I could also compare it to the Sorcerer. And the reason I say this is because the reason why I like the Demon Hunter, the Sorcerer, as well as the Voodoo Doctor, is because of the ranged attack. That's just my personal preference. If you're playing as the Demon Hunter, you obviously have a bow and arrow, and I think later on in the game you are able to somehow equip it that you have two arrows, or two, not bow guns. There's another word for it. It's bow gun, or I guess you could say bow gun, and then there's a regular bow and arrow. What I have right now is a regular bow and arrow. Here I'm just firing my rapid shot crazy. And the reason I like either the Demon Hunter or the Sorcerer is because you have that kind of ranged attack, and it gives you a big advantage. Obviously, you are probably a lot more weaker than, let's say, a Monk or either a Barbarian, because a Barbarian and a Monk focus more on strength and they have more HP. But when you're such a character as either a Demon Hunter, Witch Doctor, as well as a Sorcerer, you do have that ability, the ability to have that ranged attack. You might also have, a lot more, I guess you'd say, a mana pool for Sorcerer, and then I think the Witch Doctor might be mana pool as well. And then also the Demon Hunter, you have two different vials. One of them is for your kind of primary and secondary skills, and then the other one is for your passive skills. So as of right now, I do have that skill, which is placed on number 1, and what that skill does is allow me to set kind of like a passive trap, where it doesn't really hurt the enemies per se. It either gains to my help towards the game. So for example, that skill, I place a trap where it slows down the enemies. It doesn't really damage them, and then later on in the game I actually unlock a second skill, and what that second skill does is actually make me jump towards, either jump forward or jump backwards. Now, see, that's the thing, is that that's a passive skill, so it uses the blue side of the orb, which is more, I think, passive. It obviously has a right turn to it, but I don't know what that is. And then the orange side, reddish orange side of the orb is, focus on either your secondary attacks or primary attacks. Really depends on what skill that you are using for that. So, I think Demon Hunter is actually the only class that has two of them, and then the Witch Doctor mainly has one primary, and then the Sorcerer has one main primary. So, if you're playing as a ranged type of character, such as out of those three, you obviously, I find to myself, you might have an advantage in some ways, but obviously if you're playing as a Barbarian, you have some ways of the advantage towards the other characters. For a Barbarian, you probably have more HP and you deal more damage, but if you compare that wise to the Demon Hunter or the Sorcerer, yeah, you might have more mana, but maybe your skills might do more damage than the Barbarian's regular attack. So, it really is down to personal preference. For me, I like playing type as ranged characters where you don't have to go up close and personal and do all the action. You can, stay back and then try to help your teammates. For me, when the full game does come out on May 15th, I probably am going to be playing a ranged character, and maybe later down the road, if I decide I want to do another campaign, then I'll probably play as a, kind of the tankish deep DPS kind of person, so maybe I'll play as a barbarian or either a monk. And I'm not too sure if there's another class coming later in the game, or when the game is fully released, or there's only 5 classes. 5 classes is alright. You know, if you want to play as each class, I'd say maybe that's 20 hours or more of, you know, gameplay from story-wise. And then later in the next coming months, they're actually going to be releasing the PvP, because they're actually not going to be launching it with the game, because I guess they wanted to, you know, just to release the game, the story mode, and then probably, I'd say maybe by summer or even fall, they actually might release the PvP patch where you can PvP against other players, either friends or online people, which is really cool. I'm not too sure how that's going to go. Maybe they might do like 2v2, 3v3, kind of like in World of Warcraft, but you know, it's really up to them and how they want to do it. But you know, my thoughts on the game so far is that it's truly amazing. I haven't really faced with any problems. I didn't face with any problems. The only problems that I had were probably at the beginning of the whole demo, where I actually had kind of like a frame rate issue, but then later on in the game it actually turned out fine. Maybe it's because the first time I was playing it, but I don't know if that happened to other people. Actually, you know, I saw a couple gameplays from other people's YouTube channel, and I've noticed that same thing too, so maybe it's probably just the game. I'm pretty sure it's not on my end, because like I said, later on, especially in this part right now, my frame rates were at solid 60 frames per second, which is the best you could probably do in Diablo 3, and that was truly amazing. But you know, everything else is just perfectly fine. The graphics are truly amazing. Obviously, you do have those Diablo 2 classic fans who didn't want to really that transition from the Diablo 2 graphics to the current generation graphics of Diablo 3 that are in this game. And you know, it's just that people have to give it the times. You know, it's something that has to be done. If you want a game looking like it looked back in 2002, you know, that's not really a smart business type of move. Obviously, coming from Blizzard, they want to entertain their fans, and they want to please their fans, but you know, they can't cater to everybody. And you know, I have to go with Blizzard. You know, they did the right move. Obviously, they changed it up a bit here and there and try to make it more darker, like it was in Diablo 2 and Diablo Lords of Destruction, and it is. You know, maybe just the way that it's looked, or the way it's kind of, I don't know how you would call it, but for some people it might look that it's a lot more brighter than it was in Diablo 2. But you know, just look at the scenario you're playing. You're going in graveyards, you're going down in caves, you're going in you know, empty churches and abandoned houses, and that's pretty cool. You know, it still has that kind of feeling towards it, kind of that Diablo 2 feeling towards it. And you know, I absolutely love the game. The characters are truly amazing. The way each character is actually mighty below right there, new record, 17 kills. So you know, the way each character is created is truly amazing. You know that Blizzard took their time with this game. This game's been announced since 2005, 2006, maybe even earlier than that or sooner. But you know, this game has been in development for quite a while, and you know, they're not done with the game. I'm pretty sure they're going to put out an expansion probably in a year or two, maybe 3 years. It really depends, because Diablo 2 came out in 02 or 03 or maybe even 01. And I didn't get it at launch. I actually got it probably in 2006 or 2005. And so you know, that game came out, and I think Lords of Destruction actually came out a year or two after it. So you know, I'm pretty sure they're obviously going to release a expansion for it. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. And you know, it's truly going to be an amazing game, and I can't wait for the full release. If there is going to be a midnight release in my area, I'm going to go to it and I'm going to play it from the start. And you know, I can't wait to do a campaign or a playthrough of it, because I think this is really a game I've been most anticipating for quite a while. You know, I love these type of dungeon crawlers, RPG games, because it probably is one of my favorite types of genres out there, other aside from either, you know, fighting, or not really fighting games, but action and adventure, or you know, third-person shooters. I'd say dungeon crawler RPGs are probably one of my favorite types of genre gameplay in this game, and I can't wait for it to come out. Anyways guys, this is Chris, or MightyFurtado. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay as well as the commentary. Stay tuned for the rest of the commentary, or the rest of the gameplay, which will feature my live commentary gameplay, and hopefully you guys do, or hopefully you guys will enjoy that. But anyways guys, this is Chris, or MightyFurtado. I'll see you guys later. Peace out, take care, stay safe, see you later.